It's been over a month since Donald Trump has been in office, and this guy has just been shaking everything up in a way that I can't tell if I'm on his side or not. Anyway, what's up, guys? It's Matt back, and this is my podcast, and I'm going to try this again for the 1 millionth time. So I recorded or re-recorded session 10 probably a million times in 40 different files. There's been a billion different changes in the world since I recorded the original. It's just been a bunch of bullshit, honestly. I really don't know where I am with it all. It's just been a lot. Um there's just been a lot. I really can't tell if I'm on his side or not. I don't know how I feel about it. On the one hand, I feel like, fuck yeah, this guy's awesome. And then on the other hand, I feel like, well, what the fuck is happening? I don't even know what's going on anymore. And then it's like I keep volleying back and forth between this guy might be out of his fucking mind and, oh, well, all right, keep doing what you're doing. I like what's happening here. So I'm in a kind of like hot and cold, will he, won't he kind of vibe here with Donald Trump, trying to figure out if I like this guy and what he's doing or not. Uh, Jeez Louise. I don't know. I'm confused. I feel like I should be stressed out more. Anyway, that being said, uh, wow, this is insane. Also, Charlie Cradish should be working in media. I mean, I know he's in business, but that guy should be in media, 110%. Okay, like the business of media. Let's put it in that. I don't know. Somebody give that man a job, please. He's coming out of UCLA. He's great. I think he's in his final year at UCLA. Somebody give him a job. I know he's doing like a business internship or something right now. Give that man like a legitimate media something business job and like high end of things because that guy is doing some shit. He's great. He's doing some really great stuff. There's like a million movies coming out this year. If you check out my 2025 movie release calendar, I made some edits to it. Now it's got this super sick neon green kind of thing going on with it. I'm still going to make some extra changes to it because I think it'll be really cool once I make more changes to it. I think it's too spread out because right now it's just like an example would be like March 7th, this movie, March 7th, that movie, March 7th, that movie. And it really, in my point of view, I'm just like, why doesn't it just say March 7th and list all the movies from March 7th and just spare the viewer or the person checking out the website, yeah, the visitor or whatever, from the agonizing list that is like long for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So there's that. In addition to that, holy fucking shit. We had SailGP, which was really awesome. Uh, Great Britain won in Sydney, and it wasn't actually Sydney. Australia did not win in Sydney, which actually is gonna suck. But they did some really sick stuff in Sydney when they were in Sydney. The first of which, hold on, just so everyone's aware, I don't think anyone noticed this, but I kind of noticed this. Like in the beginning of SailGP, like last year, there were like 6 races. It was like 3 races, and then like 2 races, and then the Grand Prix. And then when they started out with the first race this year, where Team USA did fucking phenomenal, by the way, they racked up a ton of points. Like legitimately, it was 6 races. This thing has always been 6 races. Now it's 7 races. Now it's 7. They've added a race, and yeah, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. I believe it's 7 now, isn't it? Yeah, it. I believe it is 7 races now, and I am having the time of my life with it because now that there's more races, I feel like there's more for me to see. I'm excited. I'm like, yes, this is great. I can't wait to see more of this. This is fantastic. And this all started when they went to Auckland. When they went to Auckland, they had 7 plus the Grand Prix, so now it's 8 races. So now they're doing 8 races. So they went from 6 races to 8 races. It's not like this is the 7th race, and then there's the Grand Prix, which is the 8th race. So the regatta just expanded, and it's fucking phenomenal now. Because when it was six of these like fleet races, I was like, oh my god, this is cool, great, 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 nice. But then the weekend was over like really fast, and it felt like everything just happened way too quickly. But now with the addition of the 7th race plus the Grand Prix, I feel like I'm actually watching a decent competition here. Like every time I sit here, I'm like Russell Coots is the greatest CEO of all time. Russell Coots is the greatest guy of all time. This is the world's greatest man. Give this man whatever he would like. If he asks us for chocolate milk and cookies, give it to him without question. If he wants all the gold bars in the gold, what is it, reservoir or whatever we have, give it to him because the man is doing a fantastic job with SailGP, and he just deserves a fuck ton of respect. So again, I do apologize for the profanity, but Russell's got my respect. He's probably gonna have it for a very long time, honestly. So he's doing a really good job. That's looking really great. Again, Britain won that race. It was fantastic. Uh, but they Australia did not win. Australia did not win, and it was a sad day too because what happened in like in Sydney was beyond me. There was Team USA capsized. They missed Auckland, and then they come into Sydney and what the fuck? I don't know. I don't think they missed Auckland. They might not have missed Auckland. I don't remember what happened in Auckland, but I do know in in Sydney they capsized and they ended up losing points for capsizing because they capsized while they were in tow. And then you had Germany, which I don't know what Germany was doing. I don't know if Germany was out for a joyride during practice, but Germany apparently collided with Italy and then collided with Brazil. But when they collided with Brazil, they completely damaged Brazil's bow to the point where Brazil was just like, they, based on what those clips, because they show the clips of like behind the scenes during practice and all those sessions and things like that. they showed a clip and it looked like Brazil was basically just like, this isn't even our fault, but why are we getting penalized? And they're right because Brazil actually ended up getting Brazil, Germany, and Team USA had a bunch of season points deducted to the point where when they posted on Instagram and social media the points for the Sydney weekend, it looked like Germany had like negative 22 points, and I was like, oh my god, what is happening? So I went and I watched it, and I was like, oh, ho, 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 come on. And it was an intense one. But it's crazy to me what happened. Anyway, all that out the way, um, it's gonna be fantastic because March is coming up, and if you know what March is basically USA March, which fantastic. Well, it's not USA March, but it basically is USA March. In my book, I'm calling it USA March. Everybody else probably has a name for it. I'm calling it USA March because in March we are going to have SailGP in LA. In LA, they're gonna be here in LA. They're gonna be doing. It's gonna be insane. They've already posted the 3D rendering of what the dock is going to look like for what the paddock is going to look like for SailGP LA, and I have to say I am sold. I am sold. As you know, I went to go see the regatta in New York, and when I went down to New York, the paddock in New York was it was a beautiful thing. The paddock in New York was looking great. They were on Governor's Island. You got to take the ferry over. Personally, I've lived in New York for an extended amount of time in my life, and I had never been to Governor's Island before. That was my first time. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna come here and say, "Oh my God, I'm top New Yorker. I've been everywhere." No, I had not ever taken a ferry over to Governor's Island until the Grand Prix, and I am glad that I did because I had an incredible experience. It was fantastic, and the paddock looked amazing. We met a lot of people. We saw Citadel was there. It was a great time, and I will do it a million times over again. I will do it again. I enjoyed it, and I have to say, SailGP is a fantastic thing. They're doing a fantastic job. So, with them being in LA this next month. I can't wait. Maybe I might, grab some tickets and, go see them, see what's going on. It might be exciting. I think I will enjoy myself. And then after they're done in LA, the next week they're going to be in San Francisco. Which, by the way, as everyone should know by now, San Francisco was known as the home of the SailGP Grand Prix. But now that Abu Dhabi and they've gotten some bigger investors and some bigger shareholders in the game, now they are going to be doing the final race, the final Grand Prix in, I believe, Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi. Yeah, they're going to be going over there. They're going to be in Dubai. They're going to be over there, and they're going to be doing the final race, which I think is going to be fantastic because I like the way that it's expanding. I like the fact that they've gone from six races to eight, from six races to eight. I love the fact that they've expanded the map. I like that they're going into all of these different places. It just goes to say that these F-50 catamarans really find their way around the sea. That sounded much better in my head, but it is what it is. Anyway, after they're done in San Francisco, they're going to be heading out to Brazil, and I believe after Brazil, they are going to be going to New York. So it's going to be a massive gap in between the upcoming races because we have March and then we have like April, May, and then they're going to be in New York in like June ish, which I think is exciting. I'm trying to decide what I should do. Am I going to fly back to New York and go see them in New York? Am I going to go see them in LA? What's happening? I don't know what I'm doing, but I know that SailGP is happening and I want to be there. So it's exciting. I love those F-50s. I love them. I do. I do wish, though, I'm not going to lie to you, I do wish that either China or Japan will find their way back into the SailGP. It just doesn't feel right without them, but I feel like if they came back, it'd be great. Just one of them, maybe they could collaborate, something, figure it out. But it would be great to have them back because I thought, the Japanese team was probably nice, and it feels odd with the expansion of SailGP. I feel like they should come back. It just feels like it would be right. Uh, that being said, why don't we jump into some E1? First of all, let's get it out of the way that the E1 series is a fantastic powerboat series. I've been looking into the powerboating thing, and I have one thing to say. One thing to say. The powerboating leagues that are not E1 are kind of weird. I mean, I get it. The boats are different. Everybody's got a different type of speedboat. This boat, that boat. I hear you. Trust me. But E1 is pretty elite as far as the powerboat racing goes. The only unfortunate part about the powerboat racing versus E1 is the fact that E1 doesn't have very many powerboat racers in E1. A lot of the racers in E1, they come from other racing sports. And shocker, many of them aren't coming from powerboat racing, which is apparently very popular in Florida here in the U.S. So you think that the U.S. would be ponying up to them and saying, "Hey, E1 series, we want in." And another thing is they definitely should, because right now none of the E1 races are happening in the U.S. And I think that that's kind of a sad thing. I would like to see some E1 come to the US, especially since all of the major team owners, well, the bulk of them, the majority of the team owners in E1 are all Americans. It's only right that E1, maybe season 3 of E1, because right now they're in season 2 of E1. Season 3 of E1 should happen in the US. There should be a LA or a San Francisco or a New York. I think New York would like it. New York would definitely like to have the E1 series there. Trust me, if LA doesn't want it, New York wants it. New York wants it in the summer. Trust me, it will be a fantastic time. It would be great to have people out on Dumbo, people out on the piers. It will just be an incredible experience to have powerboat racing from the E1 series in New York, just to show off and have a great time. Because there's nothing like seeing the boats come in, those monohulls in the summer. They come on into Manhattan, and you have all these different things going on there. So why not throw in some E1 racing? You got the F150s from SailGP, bring in the E1s too. The E1 series. It'll be a fantastic time for everybody. And that's just where I'm at. It'll be a great time. And they can do some dock experiences and some paddock experiences just like F50 and just show them off. The only downside that I see with all this is the America's Cup and the Louis Cup. Those two cups are fantastic. And again, those two cups rarely come to the US. But and plus, no, they don't, because the America's Cup and the Louis Cup is basically in Barcelona. And those boats are sick. And I think it'll be fantastic for either E1 or SailGP to team up and get one of those, what are those boats called again? Jeez Louise, America's Cup boats. Always forget the name of the boats when I need to. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my, like get some of the Luna Rosas. Let's get the AC-75s. I don't know that they're using the AC-75s anymore. I believe that's what are they using this year? The AC-10s. It might be the AC-75s or the AC-40s that they're going to be rolling with this year. They should come on along and bring that to New York. Show them off on the dock. I think it'll be great because now that you have Jimmy Spithill, and you also have many of the people from Team New Zealand who will also participate. Well, also now Team Italy, who also participate in the America's Cup and the Louis Cup. Why not? why not bring down the AC-75 and show them off to the world? We want to see this. I think that it'll be great to have one on the paddock and a nice little a nice little Ineos, Britannia, team. And they talk about, Spit Hill could give, a little insight on these boats, and it'll be a really sick time at the regatta, and everyone will have a great time. Because the only other massive yacht race is you also have the New York City, that other large yacht race that happens off the coast there, which is another good one. It's a really, really good one. Trust me, it is. But I mean, it's like we cannot forget that sailing is just a big fucking deal. And we have a lot more out there to show than just a bunch of monohulls, which the monohulls are great. Don't get me wrong, I love the monohulls. You know I do. But I'm just saying, Sir Ben Ainsley talking about the A1, the AC-38s on the paddock for like SailGP and or E1 series isn't something that I am going to complain about. I would never complain. I would be like, yes, first of all, I'd be in heaven because the most, it would be quite literally the most out of body celestial experience that I would ever have to see those three things happen in one place. E1 series, F50's, SailGP, Louis Cup, and all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, the U.S. Marines just happen to show up. Not the Marines, but the what do you call the Navy? They just happen to show up, and then there's a bunch of pilots that just go on overhead. I mean, like, you can't be upset. It sounds like a great time. It does. It's a great fucking time. Maybe a paratrooper or two. I'm just saying. We can make this a thing. This could be a big experience. I feel like we're being cheap here. Not that anybody that sells is being cheap, because I mean, those boats cost like millions of dollars. But I mean, I'm just saying, we could have a grand time here, a real grand fucking time. It'll be a fantastic experience. Anyway, besides that, I almost said F50, F1, bro. F1's doing some fantastic things. It's going to be a great time. The season's coming up. I believe the first race is also next month. Oh, I'm not prepared. I am not prepared. And part of the reason I'm not prepared is because, well, after what I saw last year, I don't think I'm fully prepared, because last year so many people got fired in the middle of the season. Can I be real with you? The fact that people get fired in the middle of the season in F1 just makes F1 like more exciting. Drivers getting fired in the middle of the season is more exciting. Like teams dropping them, saying, "Oh yeah, well this, we have to drop you because you're not fast enough, and we got to bring someone in from like F2, F3 just to step in for you and race for you because you can't hit the target that we put there for you." Uh, I like that. I fucking like that. I like that. I like the ordeal. I like the competition both on the track and off the track. I like the competition amongst team members. I like that. It's fantastic. The only thing that I have to say about F1 though, they need an electric engine in there. Like Elon Musk or someone come in there, just have one electric engine team. Just one. One. Only one. No, I might be I no, I get it. This might be too much because I know there's Formula E, which is specifically for uh electric race cars, but for some reason I'm oddly interested in seeing that. Like I'm oddly interested in seeing how that dynamic would play out. And the next issue with that is I don't think it would happen. And even if it did, even if it were to happen, the problems with that alone would be, hey, what if they don't win? and they don't end up in like the best pole position, and it's just there's too much competition. You'd need like I don't know. You'd have to call up Checo Perez and say, "Hey, come out of retirement." By the way, I'm actually pretty pissed with Checo because as soon as he left Red Bull, he pulled out of E1. He was in E1, has his own team in E1. He's doing it while he's doing the Red Bull racing for F1. As soon as Red Bull kills his contract, he leaves E1 as well, and I thought it was a pretty messed up thing, and ended up having to tap LeBron James to see if he would come in and take over a team and invest in the teams. And if interesting things are happening out there with in the world of motorsports and water sports right now. Interesting things are happening. That's all I will say. Interesting things are happening. So McLaren had initially released, not really released, but they had some kind of leak for their livery, which was messed up because that ended up not being their livery. That they because on the 18th when they had the big F1's 75th anniversary, all the cars, blah blah blah. They had sorry, that was a little bit disrespectful. I take that back. They had all the cars line up on stage, and you had Ferrari, McLaren, Alpine, and all the other cars just so they could show off their liveries. It was a fantastic experience, but it was not the livery that we saw on the racetrack that someone had leaked, and that kind of pissed me off a little bit because I was really into that little checkered the checkered livery that they had. I thought it would be interesting to see because. But that actually made me very upset because it gave me a little bit of PTSD, minor PTSD, because immediately as soon as it happened, I thought I was reminded of Alpine last year when they also did their livery release thing that they did, their car release, and you find out that they had posted a livery online on Instagram, and it ended up not at all being the livery that they went with for the final production of the car. And I thought to myself, this is ridiculous. It was the worst experience I'd ever experienced in my entire life because I'd never been so disappointed because I was looking forward to it and it didn't happen. And I'm pretty pissed. So upset, so angry. I was not like throw a chair angry, but I was interested in seeing that. I thought this would be the sickest car on the track. Ended up just being a fucking pink car. No disrespect, but I mean like you should have gone with the camo. The pink camo was sick. I mean, I was like, hey, this is kind of cool. What? And this year, McLaren has like these the orange checkers, the orange and black checkers, and I'm like, this is sick, yes. And then they come into like the event, and it's just a solid orange car, and I'm just like, this is fucking ridiculous. This is fucking like nobody wants to spice it up, like no design. It's just like, no, orange is fine. That's it. We don't need anything. Nothing. That's it. It's ridiculous. I've never seen anything like this before, and I was so pissed about it. Not pissed enough to throw a chair or anything, but I'm very upset because I was looking forward to this thing. I thought this would be a really sick car. Check out these these checkers as they float through the fucking racetrack, and now I got a pumpkin. Well, I mean, I like pumpkin anyway, but whatever. It's kind of fucked up, honestly. It's just so messed up. Oh, man. Anyway. And I was kind of pissed off. I wasn't pissed. I was, because I gotta say, stop saying it's pissed off, but I was a little bit upset about the outfits that they gave Ghastly and what's his name? Ackman? I might be pronouncing his last name wrong. I'm incorrectly. I do apologize. The Alpine guys, I need them to be in suits next time. When they do the red carpet, can we put those guys in suits? Because I don't know what they were wearing on the red carpet. It kind of freaked me out a little bit. I was like, what? What is that? What is that? I'm sorry. I'm not here to be the fashion police, but I saw what they wore on the red carpet, and I was like, "There's no fucking way." I was like, "You need to fire your stylist because they wore that on the red carpet, and then they got inside of the events and they had on their uniforms, their gear for driving, and the gear design is fantastic. But whoever dressed them for the red carpet, that person is a criminal." I'm sorry. That person is a criminal. There was no effort. I guess there was some form of effort, but it didn't show. They were not dressed appropriately for a red carpet, not in my opinion. They could there I know everybody else had their own little styles or whatever was going on, but this what they did with those guys at Alpine was terrible. They they need to hire a stylist to style them when they're doing the red carpets because that can never happen again. Because we just need to come to a clear understanding that shouldn't happen again. That was scary. I don't know who said, "Oh, this is a great outfit." No, it was not a great outfit. They were not great outfits. In fact, when I saw them, I had to do it. I gasped. I don't usually gasp when people get dressed, but I gasped. I was like, "What the fuck? Who?" It's a red carpet. I know you can wear whatever you want to, but I mean, like, what the fuck? All else fails, a suit and tie is like the bare minimum of what you should wear if you don't know what the fuck you're doing because that shit was insane. I'm sorry, Alpine. I didn't like it. I didn't, and I do apologize for the profanity, but I did not like it at all. Fuck, man. Oh my god. Wow. Politics is crazy this time of year, because it's officially been a little bit over a month since DT's been in office, and I am. Oh man. Ugh. I'm like completely mind blown. So much has been going on. Elon Musk and Doge, they were subpoenaed, I think, and they lied and told this judge that Elon is not the head of Doge and that he doesn't operate Doge, and then apparently, quote unquote, allegedly, a bunch of Democrats sent out letters to their constituents to let them know that Elon Musk is the head of Doge and that they lied to this judge. And then there was all of these reports on when they fired all these people at a time like this. The firing of all of these people during tax season, I think, is completely fucked up. The liberal part of me is just like, that's messed up, but the Republican part, the conservative side of me, is kind of like, let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. The taxes are gonna be crazy this year, and people are just like, well, there's no one for you to call to help you with your tax. Now there's people to call. It's just gonna be a longer wait. That's it. Trust me. And then, oh, dude, then you have the whole ICE thing where ICE is basically just rolling through neighborhoods to snatch people off the road and deport them. There was a guy, I didn't even watch the video yet. Let me tell you about it. But there was a guy who is an illegal immigrant and he was convicted of statutory rape, by the way. Now, and this is, I believe this is in New York, and I not no, trust me, I understand that statutory rape. There's a number of things that can lead to statutory rape charges for people. So I don't immediately say like, oh yeah, this person was, because I I know, there are people that have acts. I've known people who have accidentally gotten hit with those charges for minor infractions because of people who overreact and things like that, and especially in New York City, with New Jersey being so close by. Um, yeah, but I mean that shit's crazy. He had like it's so I know one person, and it was and I only know about that person from an article. I don't know that person personally, but it's like you never know. But regardless, this man had a statutory rape charge. He seemed to be walking free. He was an illegal immigrant. They snatched him up off the street. Cops ran to him in New York, found him, and then he was like, "Let me call my wife." Apparently, he's married. He was saying, "Let me call my wife. She's pregnant. Please, let me call my wife because she's pregnant." And I was like, "This man has statutory rape charges, and he has a pregnant wife." If anybody saw that headline, immediately they would just say the most disgusting of things. I'm not gonna lie. I thought some of them, a couple of them myself. But then I also remembered that one article about that one guy that I read about a couple of years ago, where he ended up getting a statutory rape charge because he was 18, and apparently he was dating this like 17-year-old girl. They were in the same high school. He was 18. He just happened to turn 18 while he was in the senior year, and he was dating a chick that was younger than him. He was in high school. They were both in high school, and he ended up getting a statutory rape charge because of his age and nonsense like that. So, but then I also recognize that there are some really disgusting motherfuckers out there that do shit. So, I don't really know what his situation is, so I can't differentiate it. But what I can say is, it's not a good look. It's definitely not a good look. So the headlines and discussions and talks about that are probably going to be insane, and there are probably going to be very few people who are going to defend that man and say, "Well, it could have been a mistake. It could have been like a situation where," but so there's that. And then it's crazy. And then today there was this little debacle between Donald Trump and the governor of Maine. Who the fuck is the governor of Maine? No disrespect. I don't know who that is. Governor of Maine. Janet. Okay, I do apologize for the profanity. Janet. D- Jan, Janet T. Mills. Oh dear Lord. All right, Trafton. Okay. I like that she had that little banter there with Trump, or I don't know what they were talking about, what specific thing they were talking about, but he was basically just like, your state's not going to get federal funding due to X, Y, and QTE or whatever. But I don't really remember. It was a little bit of a debacle, little banter going on there. She was like, "Hell no, we won't go," and he was like, "Hell yes, if you want this money." And she was like, "Well, I'll take you to court," and he was like, "Good, this will be a easy." Oh, it was good. It was for trans women in women's sport, which I mean, anything. I'm not here to be that person, but I don't know why I don't know why we're even having this fucking argument. Like legit, I don't know why this is an argument. It just should this one particular thing should not be an argument. I'm sorry. It just shouldn't be. And this one is just common sense. It shouldn't be an argument. No one should be saying, "Oh, well, you know what, we're all up in arms." Don't be up in arms because this is kind of true. Just for some reason, it's a little bit true. I mean, like, it's not me being disrespectful towards trans people, but I'm just saying, I don't think that you should be. I feel like if you're a dude, if you're a biological male, I feel like you should play sports with biological males. And if you want to wear a fucking ponytail and paint your nails while you're doing that, then go ahead and fucking do it. But I don't think that you should be, playing, sports with, like, women. Because, like, but you want to know the fucked up part about this? The only people complaining about this is the only people complaining about it is the ones that don't have the trans women on their teams. The teams that have the trans women on their teams, they're just like, well, we're winning, so we don't give a shit. We're winning, so we don't, it is, equal rights, yeah, we're winning, so it is what it is. And the other team's just like, I just got, whatever. They got hurt by someone, so they're all pissed off and yeah, upset about it. But I'll be honest with you, if they had the trans women on their team, they wouldn't be complaining. Trust me. We all know that's a fact. But just in the face of politics and as far as politics go, like, yeah, no, I am 110% here with you. You definitely should not have trans women playing in women's sports. It's a big thing. I get it. And Janet, sweetheart, just say no to it because this one is just kind of clean cut. This one's just obvious. We don't have to have a debate about this. Not that you'll ever hear this or anything, but still, chances of that, son. Um, fuck. Then I heard there was this thing where Barron Trump, uh, no, NYU girl. I guess she's like the head or something of like the young Republicans at NYU, and then she had a bunch of nonsense to say. She said some stuff about Barron Trump. She answered some questions about Barron Trump, but she answered those questions to one of these like these media sites that like to twist words. So even though that might not have been even though she may not have conveyed this particular type of message, that there's the specific message that they're saying that she conveyed, that magazine, I believe it was People or something, they really twisted her words to fuck around and made it sound like she was calling Barron kind of like lame or something like that, and she ended up having to resign from like the NYU Young Republicans or something like that. And now they're gonna invite Barron Trump in. They were already thinking about inviting him because of his dad and stuff like that. But like now it's kind of just like this thing where now she's kind of, and it's kind of crazy because like all her social media, like they used her name. You can see all her social media. They even the article that came out that basically said that she resigned. That article listed like her major, what she's studying, what internship she's doing, and I was like, oh, this is fucked up. And no, because really, like honestly, that's just kind of fucked up because like people are gonna see this like when they do a background check on her. If they do a background check on her, she's probably gonna have to sue a bunch of these outlets so that they can get rid of the article that they wrote about her. Because like if not, she's probably gonna face a little bit of a setback in getting jobs and shit. Probably not, but she might, because that's insane. So I definitely think like she might have to put out a couple lawsuits, pull a Kamala Harris, honestly. Oh, just in case you guys did not know, Kamala Harris did the exact same thing. She sued a couple of years ago. She sued news I think it was New York Times. She sued them to get them to pull a fucking article about her. So nowadays you can't even find the article. If you Google the article, like you'll never find it because she sued them to make them pull the article or something. And that's been kind of a quiet hush hush thing too, because even the point about even the fact about her suing it has also been incredibly hush hush. Like, I mean, if you could probably find an article about it, but still, like, it's crazy. Oh man. Oh man, the Democrats are like spiraling. Mayor Eric Adams had a quid pro quo, but his quid pro quo isn't like the quid pro quo that you think it is. It's not necessarily bad, at least not in my eyes, because I know how he ended up doing the quid pro quo. So basically, Pam Bundy, the new DOJ under the Donald Trump administration, decided that she was going to try to pull the charges from pull the charges that Eric Adams has against him right now in New York because whatever for whatever reason. I mean, if you know anything about what's going on in New York, then you already know that the charges. And if you've listened to previous sessions, you already know the charges against Mayor Adams are basically inflammatory and like trumped up, and they have, even though they may have some kind of merit, the only reason they brought the charges against him was because he was so strong-armed in his approach to handling things with Joe Biden when Joe Biden was in office, because he had told, I believe, yeah, the day he told Joe Biden, I guess I don't know the specifics because I wasn't in the room, but what I know is he was on a plane to DC, and the Fed showed up to his mansion with warrants and all these different things, and because he was very foot down, heel down, boot down with Joe Biden when he spoke with him about things going on in New York. And it was very apparent and it was very clear that Joe Biden did not like the way that Mayor Adams engaged with him and the way anything that Mayor Adams, whenever Mayor Adams spoke with him about things going on in New York. So it's very apparent that there was a little bit of tension there. So then all of a sudden these charges and for all these different things started popping up and showing up, and it only further drove that little notion that there is some kind of tension between Adams and Biden. So Biden gets out of office. Adams has all these charges. Trump gets into office. Trump meets with Adams. Trump and Adams kind of hit it off. I think they met at the charity dinner that Kamala did not go to. By the way, no hate, Kamala. She should have gone. Respectfully, she should have gone. And so they met. I guess they discussed it. They talked for a bit, and then after Trump got Pam Bundy into office or whatever, Pam Bundy basically right now is like, we'll just get rid of these charges because this is unnecessary. And on top of that, they're doing the whole ICE thing in New York in addition to that as well. So it's also evident that there was a minor quid pro quo, nothing major, but just some like, hey, why don't you let us come into New York, pick up some illegal immigrants, and then we'll get rid of these like trumped up charges against you. And basically, Adams is basically like, yeah, fuck yeah, we'll do that. Okay, cool. And then, so now more ICE agents are in New York. But you still have to remember that everything that Adams was doing with like Biden was basically because Adams was trying to get help for New York, because New York has like a major issue. And under the Biden administration, fucking what's that guy's name down in Texas? Shipped a bunch of fucking illegal immigrants all the way over to like to New York. They shipped them to like to Chicago. They shipped them to New York. They shipped them to like a bunch of places around a bunch of Democratic states. I think they even shipped some to California. I don't remember. And New York had no place to house these people, and it caused an entire mess in New York, which is if you ever been to New York, you know that New York is already dealing with its own issue with like unhoused individual homelessness and issues within their homeless shelters, that people who are homeless feel like the only safe place for them to sleep and to be is on the train, and then the overcrowding in some places, and how difficult it is to get some of these people off of the street for various reasons, some of them being mental health and then some, etc. So that's essentially what Biden was up in arms with. Essentially what Adams was up in arms with Biden about. and that led to all of these charges, these basically inflated charges or whatever. And this it causes major fucking mess out in New York, because then everyone in his administration, there was all this charge left, another charge, this charge, that charge, this person's getting this person's resigning, this person's leaving, this person's leaving, this person got another set of charges, this person they found this person they uncovered this, they basically just deep dived into his entire administration to the point where it was just like unbearable, that you could literally see the bludgeoning occurring right before your eyes. And it was like, okay, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, these charges with Adams was basically just putting his neck inside of the fucking guillotine and saying, all right, well, I'm done with you. And that's what it was. So if Adams did accept the quid pro quo to get his charges removed so that ICE could come into New York City and pick up more immigrants, and I'm sure he was pretty much like, fuck yeah, especially when we recently experienced in New York, not we, because I'm in California at the moment, but especially when they recently experienced in New York an illegal immigrant who, by the way, was deported and then somehow weaseled his way back into the country, got himself to New York, and set a fucking woman on fire in the middle of a train station. And I'm not even going to talk about the NYPD's response to it and how they handled that situation, which, by the way, was disgusting. If it were me, I would have tossed my coat on that woman. I would have been cold just so I could put this woman out and and get the oxygen away from this, what do you call it, deoxygenate this fire so that we could have potentially saved her life. There is so much video evidence. I have a video on my phone of this woman just standing on the train there, and she was on fire. And at some point, she just stopped screaming, because by that point, if you know anything about being set on fire, at some point, your nerve endings they get burnt, and man. It was a mess. It was such a mess. It was such a mess, man. It's such a mess over there. I can't even, you can't even deny it. What's going on in New York right now is an incredible mess. At least what was, because with all the changes happening right now with ICE and everything, it's likely that there'll be a good bit of cleanup that we can expect soon. I mean, it was scary, man. And then this guy, he just stood there and he was like fanning the flames. He was fanning the flames, man. Oh, man, it was disgusting. It was a terrible tragedy. It was a terrible tragedy to watch occur before my eyes. I honestly couldn't believe it. It's terribly disgusting. I feel like, I feel so bad. It's terrible. Oh my goodness. They arrested a guy, and hopefully he himself will be getting deported. And with Trump having more of the military on the border right now, I think it's good, because we are likely going to see less illegal immigrants coming through the border, and that's going to be very, very good for us. In exchange, it'll be fantastic for us. I like that. I think it's good, because we don't know what's coming across the border. We have so many people, like the gangs and the cartels and everything. I feel like Claudia needs to get a hold of this cartel shit. I know she's doing fantastic work. She's trying to bring up the Mexican economy. I get it, and there's so many different parts of Mexico that are not dealing with cartel issues. But there are parts of Mexico that are dealing with cartel and gang issues, and I think that she needs to get ahead of that. Like send out the military. Do something, sweetheart. You need to get rid of those people, because it is not good what is going on there. Some of these people, the cartels are coming into the U.S. to kill the immigrants that come to the U.S. Like, the cartels will help these people come into the U.S., help them cross the border, and then the cartels They set up a little miniature shop here in the U.S. and then they go after these people when they don't pay them for bringing them over here to the U.S. So I mean, like, come on, they're causing problems all over the place. You need to get ahead of that. And I like that you created a chip the other day. I'm very enthusiastic about that. Congratulations to Mexico for that. It was a good job. Claudia's doing some fantastic work over there. She's incredible. She's a fantastic woman. Um, but she's really got to get ahead of these cartels, man. Really got to get ahead of these cartels. Like, legit, get rid of these motherfuckers. Like, set fire to them, bro. Like, I'm really sick and tired of these motherfuckers coming up in here doing all this drugs, selling drugs and shit like that. Like, we don't want to see that here, Like, we get it. People do drugs in the U.S. Okay, cool. But the fentanyl shit that's going on, all this other nonsense. Nobody's got the fucking time for that nonsense. Nobody's got the time for that garbage, man. We gotta get rid of that shit ASAP. That's crazy. So I mean, like, yeah, like, it's a crazy time. It's a crazy time. They've uncovered so much stuff. The Department of Government Efficiency has uncovered so much stuff, so much money. We were giving money to Iran to create a Sesame Street show. We were giving them like 6 million or 6 billion or something like that. And then we were giving money to like people all over the country for like sex changes and stuff like that. Which, like, look, I don't give a fuck what you do with your body. If you want to change your sex, go ahead. If you feel like you're the opposite sex and you want to change it, great, go ahead. Just don't wake up tomorrow morning and tell me you're a third gender. There's only two, which I kind of agree with because I've always said that. Do what you want to fucking do. But I mean, like, let's be real, bro. And to top the entire mess off, which, by the way, is just insane to me, you also have what is it? They were just giving money to everyone, and then they basically said they're gonna destroy they're gonna gut the Department of Education. And I was listening to the constituents because the constituents are you have to meet the constituents where they are, and the constituents are obviously on social media, and so I'm going through social media, and people are obviously commenting on the whole Department of Education thing, and they're also commenting on all the changes that Donald Trump is making as well, and it's become evidently clear that people, specifically people around the black community, are sort of split on it, but they're really clear on where they stand. And everybody else, like Asian communities, Caucasian communities, immigrant communities. Everyone is basically clear on POC communities, Latinx, etc. Everyone is pretty much clear on where they stand, and they all stand in the same position. We all come, and this is what they all have to say: "Quote: We all complain about the Department of Education. Our families have complained about the Department of Education for years, and the way that they've handled the education system in the United States for years. So why are we even complaining about them dismantling the Board of Education when in reality we never even liked the way the Board of Education was handling the education of our children in the first place?" Like, you understand? So the basics of it is people in the U.S. are sort of split right now on how they feel about Donald Trump and everything that what he's doing. The gist of it is that we're in a love-hate relationship. It's sort of like a should we not. It's basically like a very like you're trying to put your toe in the water to see if it's cold enough or if it's warm enough, and if you want to put your entire body in it. Because right now, as it stands, a lot of people are for Donald and what the administration is doing. More specifically, how they have been releasing all these documents and information about how taxpayer dollars have been being spent. Everyone in America, Democrat or whatever party they are affiliated with, is very much like, okay, tell me more. We want to know where our tax money has been going. Fuck yeah. So we're all on board with that task. However, the task of people getting fired, nobody's on that. No one's on board with that. So we're kind of just like, yeah, no, so many people getting fired. Not sure if this is the best time to apply for a job. I mean, I need a job, but what am I supposed to do? That's basically where everyone is. And furthermore, people also kind of appreciate the way that Donald's been handling things. The way Donald has been handling things, people kind of appreciate it. Now, the DAI thing, everyone was kind of split on that because everybody was basically split on the DEI thing because nobody really knew what DEI stood for. And a bunch of people, many people, very clearly assumed that DEI would immediately be a dig at race, which isn't, I'm not saying is not necessarily true, but by the standards of 2025, it's not a major dig, and it's not specifically a dig at race because DEI stands for a million different things that has nothing to do with race. It has to do with age, it has to do with gender, it has to do with sex, it has to do with your several different things. It has to do with like disabilities. It has to do with uh, you know, education, where you went to school. All these, there are a plethora of things that fall under the DEI umbrella that a lot of people aren't particularly, or at least they seem like they aren't particularly aware of. So the question and the argument still is, you know, do we stand at the whole DEI thing? We're not particularly sure. Now, there are places that have said that they're going to stand up against it and they're still going to be for the DEI thing, which respectfully, everybody is all for. Like, let's go. We get it. Okay? And then there are other people who just like, thank God, and I can just hire who I fucking want to. Because now, if I don't want to hire like four, a certain amount of this particular, a certain amount of disabled people, I don't have to. I can hire like, all able-bodied people and get my, keep my shit on the, I keep this company rolling because that's kind of how it is. Because then when you hire certain people, according to DEI, I'm not trying to be an asshole here, please forgive me, but you have to remember that you have to make certain accommodations when you're hiring certain people. And with the removal of DEI, a lot of people are going to have to make those accommodations. Now they'll still make accommodations out of the kindness of their hearts. But they're gonna, it's just not gonna be like federally imposed anymore. So there's that. So, is that inherently a bad thing? Is that a good thing? It's arguable and it's questionable, and again, it depends on the company. It depends on a million things. And the next thing, we are like legitimately in a time in our lives where half of this shit does not even need to be federally imposed. Because like, I mean, like having it federally imposed means like we could sue the fuck out of you, yeah. But you know, most of it it's not a big deal. Because we're already doing it and we already plan to do it and we're gonna hire you regardless, etc. In addition to all this stuff going on, the question still remains of will these things hold up? Because a lot of the things that Donald has been doing, they have brought lawsuits about from all across the country. So many things have been blocked versus the latter. So like USAA, they paused. They said we're doing away with USAA. Uh, it ended up being that a judge pretty much said, no, you can't. So now USAA is still going. And part of the reason why USAA is actually still going, despite people thinking it being like shut off, is literally because we have like fucking, sorry for cursing, I apologize for the profanity. We just have warehouses of stuff. We have warehouses of food, okay, that would go bad. And that's not funny, but we have warehouses of food that would go bad if we don't give them where they're supposed to be going. Like they have to, well, we can't do anything until we like fulfill these orders. Like we're in the middle of fulfilling orders. That's essentially what's going on. So they're basically like, we kind of have to finish these orders and ship this stuff out before we close anything up anyway, because half of this stuff has already been ordered. We've already, entered into this and blah 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 and all these other different things. And like there's like tons of rice here that have to go to this country and medications, and so there's too many things going on there. So it's temporarily paused the shut off to it. As far as the last time that I checked, it was temporarily paused because they have to empty the warehouses, quote unquote, before they can fully like shut off USA aid. Because then everything has to be redistributed, but whatever. So there's all these like different things that you have to consider when it comes to these things. It's crazy. There was another. There are a few other things going on right now. Bannon getting into it with Elon, calling Elon a parasite. That was a fantastic one for me because I got the message the same morning, and someone was like, they were like, dude, he said he had like a parasite or something in him," and then all of a sudden, Bannon's like, I get the notification that Bannon said like Elon's like a parasite, and I'm like, oh shit, it's getting, it's getting fucking crazy. So it's an insane time to be alive. It's an insane time to view what's going on with Donald Trump and Elon Musk and everyone. And so, but there are always inconsistently there. Consistently, there are always going to be like headlines and articles coming out about what's going on, especially what's going on in the White House, because a lot of people are speculating. And if there's like a minor argument between two friends, everyone already has a comment to make. But the basics of it, based on what we saw from CPAC, it is very clear that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are in a reputable bromance. Okay, those two are in a bromance. They are. Elon is all for Trump. Trump is all for Elon. They are like good friends. Like it's become very clear. Like those two are two peas in the pods right now. They are the best of friends, and Elon, Barron, and all of Don's other grandkids that are in there to play. I mean, they're going to be having the time of their lives. Trump's going to have the time of his life in office for the next 4 years, writing legislation, writing executive orders, putting things in through passing laws, etc. Because he's getting a lot of stuff straight from the source of the young people and the source of everyone else. And this is why I have been honestly saying that I think and I really believe that, and I know that we're all speculative about what's going to happen in 2028, also in 2026, because we know in 2026 there is a major election here in California for the new governor. So California is going to change hands in 2026, which is right next year. And there are a lot of people already bidding on who's going to be the next governor, and we have not seen Kamala Harris throw her hat in the ring yet. So that's kind of a scary thing. Now, why is it scary? I think it's scary because it is important that we see Kamala Harris do something. But right now, she's like on vacation. I don't know if she's on vacation, but what I heard from like a hole in the wall. I'm not a hole in the wall. I shouldn't say that. But the what? Okay, the information that I received is that she was planning on moving. Uh, then articles started coming out that she was in New York. But we do know that one of the stepkids is in New York. So there are a lot of things happening. I don't know what the movements are. I don't know if it means that Kamala's moving to New York. Maybe she is. If she moves to New York, she'll be doing things in New York, I assume. What does that mean? I don't know. Her moving to New York will have her be closer to DC, that's for sure. So if anything, she'll be floating around on the East Coast between, DC, doing whatever she wants to do. Last time I checked, she was in New York, I think last week. She might still be there. She's causing a ruckus. So, she's not causing a ruckus, but she's causing some headlines out in New York. As everyone's taking photos, everybody's out to meet Kamala. She's a great woman. She's great. However, We do know that the speculation right now is that she's moving. We know that she plans on moving. If she plans on moving within California, I don't know. If she plans on moving to another Democratic state, I don't know. I don't know the specifics. I just know that there were talks about Harris moving. That's about it. I just know there's talks about her moving. I don't know when the fuck she's moving to. I don't know her personally, so I can't answer any questions. But as far as I do know, she is moving or she is planning to move. So there's that. In addition to that, what is it? I lost my train of thought. Fuck. Damn. Basically, right now, everything that's going on with Trump is basically daily headlines, and everyone living in DC is getting it first. I'm getting it last because I'm in California, and that has to make a couple routes before it gets to me. It makes it's like it's coming through the news. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Like it's coming through the express mail. I'm joking. But yeah, no, there's a lot of things happening right now. A lot of things are gonna be happening in the future. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next 4 years, in the next 3 years. Done. I'm looking forward to seeing. Uh, I know there's some talk about there being like $5,000 going to all Americans this year with taxes. I cannot confirm that, but there is a rumor about everyone receiving $5,000 after filing and paying their taxes this year, in addition to whatever they're supposed to get. I believe everyone's supposed to be getting that. I don't know if that's true. It's a rumor. I haven't heard anything about that since the one article I read, so I cannot confirm. um, uh, Damn, I think that's about it because I haven't really been online today. I've been dealing with some other things with my leg. I think I have like some kind of I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon and say it's and say that it is a embolism, but I definitely know that I need to start working on my legs more because I haven't been working on my legs in a very long time. Since my surgery, I haven't worked on my legs in like more than a month. So it's becoming evidently clear that I need to start focusing on my leg workouts, because the muscles in my legs are kind of getting like overworked, like way too fast, um, from me just doing straight up cardio, and my body, more specifically my legs, aren't used to me doing this much cardio and this little like leg workouts. So I haven't really done anything to my legs. So also I think I hit a vein doing my shot last week. Well, I did hit a vein doing my shot last week. I definitely hit a vein doing my shot last week because the blood came out of my leg. It was pretty fast, and so I know I definitely hit a vein when I was doing my shot. So there's that. But yeah, I think I think that's about it for right now. That's all I've got for this week. For today at least. Today is 2/22. Anyone else know about that? It's kind of my thing. Maybe it's not yours, but it's mine. So there's that. And yeah, go check out the website. I changed my homepage, my landing page. The homepage is still the same, but my landing page now is my fiction stories. So when you go onto the website, when you type in mattblack.com, MVTTBLVC, BLVC.com, you're going to come up immediately on the short stories. You can go ahead and click one of those and read a short story on there. They're not the best. Most of them I was wrote while I was writing while in the early stages of Pulse, which if you know I'm working on Pulse right now. Pulse is going to be the first major release. At least at first I'm going to shop as a major release. a lot of these short stories that you see on there have are written while I'm writing posts. So like while I'm writing posts, I might have like a side story that may pop into my head, and those are the side stories that those some of those short stories are about that as well. And some of them are based on like my everyday life, more specifically my everyday life in New York and my everyday life in San Francisco. And I don't think I've written anything just yet about my everyday life in LA, because since I've been in LA, I've basically been laptop, computer, eyes on computer every day. So I haven't really been doing too much excursions in LA just yet. I've done like one or two, but nothing major to write about as yet. So everything that you read on the fiction side is basically just on a short story page. It's pretty much just based in New York and San Francisco. So bear with me on that. And they're pretty great stories. Again, you can follow my podcast. You follow on Spotify or on Apple Music, or just tune in whenever you can. And I also have it on YouTube, so you can also listen on YouTube with the video on YouTube. That's pretty sick. You're welcome to do that. That's great. In addition to that, I also just go ahead and follow me on social media. I have a ton of social media accounts. They're all under Matt Black and VTTBLVC. You guys are good. They're pretty cool. Check out my movie release calendar. I have a little section on my thing called This Week on my website. You go hover over the homepage menu, you'll find, just click This Week. And this week is basically just like some random updates of like things that I'm kind of interested in and kind of invested in for the upcoming 2025. I haven't written a new My Wife story in a bit. The reason for that is because of the book for My Wife. I'm kind of just saving everything and putting it into the book for My Wife instead of writing it down on social media, but I will write some new stuff coming soon, starting next week. You can look out for that. That should be awesome. And that's about it. Go on there, check out stuff, click on stuff. I'm gonna have more photos up soon. You can also purchase photos, which I will be putting into my shop. I'm gonna probably go ahead and do that sometime next week, probably on Wednesday, next Wednesday. I will start putting a lot more photo prints into my website shop, and you guys can shop more of my photos, which is great. I'll have one or two stories that you can purchase um, to read. That'll be great. I will update my SailGP calendar on my website so you can see this up to date scores. That should be fantastic. I will also go on ahead to. You can also check out the Investor Hub so you can see what I'm working on. The Investor Hub on a site that's going to show you a little bit more of what I'm doing and what I have been doing, what I've been working on, what other side projects I've been working on. I have a couple other side projects aside from those. One of them, like another major one that I have. Um, I haven't talked about it just yet or put too much information out there about it, but the basics of it is that there's going to be some construction stuff happening. We're basically trying to find out how to put together a construction company that would work in basically work across the country, in any state in the country. So in any and every state, but for now it's mostly just focused on getting clients and meeting with people to see how they want to do things and where they want to build. So the basics of it is that we might be building more in like California because of recently just had wildfires. So it's about building it up here, finding good people who want to work with it, bringing along a team and building a team and making sure I have the best team possible to navigate the construction industry as a whole, architectural, blueprinting, things like that. And that would be a great thing to do and to work on. And then in addition to that, there's still this stuff we're gonna be doing more podcasting, and that should be great. So you should expect more sessions. I did say we're gonna get more sessions every week, and then I kind of backpedaled on that a bit because of my appendix, which I had removed. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. Um, yeah, no, so I'm really excited about what's happening now. It's gonna be a great time. I hope you guys have a great night. Again, follow everything, check out everything, and yeah, that's about it. Okay. I'll see you in the next session, and the next session will be up on Tuesday. This is actually gonna go up today, so this is great. Yeah, this is a very quick rundown. I hope you guys are great. Later. Oh wait, well let me pause it. What's happening? Oh my god! No, there we go. Music.